My name is Paul Berger. Been in the past the chairperson of the Commission on Global Ministries for the Kansas West Conference. I'm very involved in volunteers in mission. I've had a passion for mission for many years, and my wife and I served with Habitat for Humanity for 5 years in the United States and in Mexico. So I've had this passion and have worked to develop that and use it here in our conference. Today we're going to look at some specific mission activities and coordination pointers that can be used for all ministries and provide resources for your churches to use. Our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Our goals are to educate members on missions, missionaries, and financial support of missions, and to equip our members and leaders to serve more deeply in ministry by giving them the opportunities to serve. We read in 1 Peter 4:10, each one should use whatever gift he or she has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. As we start ministries, we need to look at two things. We need to have a passionate leader, coordinator of the ministry, and we need to decide on what ministries we're going to get involved in. I thought first we'll take a look at getting a team leader or coordinator for the ministry. Each ministry needs this coordinator, and we can look at other people that have a passion for missions. They are a leader, well organized, and flexible. You could check with your pastor. You can check with past team leaders or ministry coordinators to find out who they recommend. Then, as you find these people, then match them with their passion in ministry. It's important to look at what their passion is to be in mission and ministry and to match them with that. Ask them to prayerfully consider the ministry and then clearly explain to them their responsibilities, such as if they're to be a mission team leader, their responsibility would be to be the organizer, to keep the team focused on Christ, and that as the team leader they would also delegate out their duties to team members. So that would give them, they would know specifically what their duties would be. And then contact them for monthly updates and ask them if they need any assistance. Once we have a team leader, or before that, we can look at what mission project we'd like to be involved in. First, we say, what does Jesus say? And we look at the parable of the Good Samaritan and the two great commandments. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Christ tells us that our neighbor is everyone. So we know that we are to help everyone. And in the second great commandment, it is to help others as ourselves. So it's open to helping all. So as we look at these ministries, it can be within our community, therefore, can be in Kansas or Nebraska. It could be elsewhere in the world. So we're open to ministries everywhere. And as we choose a ministry, we want to have opportunities for people of all ages, skills, and talents. When passions change, it's time to reevaluate the ministry and move on as the Spirit leads. Don't continue a ministry just because we've always done it that way. So always be looking to add new ministries, and if you have someone that is passionate about a ministry, maybe they've moved on or left your church and there's not someone there to continue that ministry, don't be afraid to end that ministry and look for where people in your church have a passion. You also want to include people of all ages and skill levels so that you may have several ministries going in your church, but not necessarily ones that would be that everyone could be involved in. They might be on a weekend ministry, it might be for adults, but we want to include the children, the youth, people that are available during the week, and people available weekends. The project that you choose could be for relief, rehabilitation, or development. Development is not done to people or for people, but with people. A good book about that is When Helping Hurts by Steve Corbett and Brian Fickert. But in development, we work with the people in partnership with them to help them to better their lives both physically and spiritually. We both grow as we do this. In the relief part of missions is, say, after a hurricane or a tornado or something, when people need immediate assistance with food and lodging and clothing, that's when we help them to get back on their feet. In rehabilitation, we're looking more at getting them back to where they've been. So getting them, and they can start helping and working with us on this. Whereas in the third phase in development, we're maybe working with them to move beyond where they've been in the past. Let's look at a few different ministries that I've been involved in the past that either we're still involved with at Kechi United Methodist Church where I attend, or we were involved in the past. And as we look at these, we can see where they've been, how we developed them and included people in the ministry. The first one is a homeless sack lunch ministry, which we have, and it's in Wichita. We provide sack lunches for the homeless. How we do it is that one Sunday we hand out empty sacks to everyone in our congregation that would like to participate, and then the following Sunday they return those sacks full of lunches, and they're put in the church refrigerators and then taken to the Homeless Resource Center in Wichita on Monday. And the reason we picked this ministry was that it was one where we could involve people of all ages. So the children could be involved in anything from decorating the sacks beforehand. Bible verses or inspirational readings could be put in the sacks. And it didn't have to be someone that was only available during the week or on the weekend. So that's why we specifically decided on this type of ministry. And then as it developed, in the beginning, the need has increased quite a bit with the Homeless Resource Center, feeding the homeless. So over a period of years, as that increased, it became a little more than we were able to take care of at our church and have enough sack lunches for. So then we looked a little further, and to help make this happen, how could we maybe do this would be to partner with another church. So we contacted several churches in our area, United Methodist churches, to see if they would be able to partner with us on this, and one did, and now we split the sack lunches, and they provide half of them and we provide half. They're all brought to our church and then taken to the Homeless Resource Center on Monday. But this turned out to be a good way to be able to stay in this ministry, even though it had grown a little beyond our capacity, and also to get another church involved. Your church may have a food pantry that you could serve the people in your community. Another good idea of a ministry. But another one that we've been involved in the past is the Christmas basket ministry. Here we pack Christmas baskets on a weekend, and then they're delivered to families and individuals that need a little uplift or a visit during the Christmas time. In this ministry, we've included several other community organizations in Kechi that help with this. So it's not just a church ministry, but others are involved too. You might have a ministry to nursing homes and shut-ins. For those that have a passion for being involved in nursing homes and shut-ins, they can go visit others that aren't able to get out. And it can be something just as simple as having a bingo fellowship time when members can get together and have a little fellowship time. Operation Christmas Child is another example of packing shoe boxes of items that would be sent to children, usually in another country, and it's a good one for Sunday school children, so that they can pack the boxes. They'll know about what country it goes to later and maybe see a short video on that country and the distribution of the boxes, so it brings it back to home to them exactly how they've been able to help. We had one called the Grace Partnership Neighborhood Meal. And in Wichita, a church, Grace United Methodist Church, has a meal every week on Tuesday evenings where they provide a meal to the people in their neighborhood. And we partnered with them at one time to help provide that meal and serve it at their church. So some ministries you can partner with other churches in that way. And you could have just local work days. It might be with another organization in your community or someone that you find in need in your community. Such as Habitat for Humanity, you might have a half or a full work day with them. You might start your own home repair ministry out of your church for your community. We've done this where we've gone anything from painting a house, someone in need that's unable to do it themselves, to help move someone out of their house or moving in or out of houses, someone that needs assistance with that, to something as simple as just providing, changing light bulbs for someone that needed that assistance. And it's not a ministry where we stay, that we're doing stuff all the time, but it's a ministry there for when when there's a need. And you could pack emergency food packs or hygiene kits, for example, for United Methodist Open Door or the food ministry in your community. And this one, we decided to collect food items over a period of weeks. And then rather than just taking them down to United Methodist Open Door, we had a pack time at our church on the weekend on a Saturday. And we got grocery bags and packed into it what they had on their list as what went into an emergency food pack. So this allowed, again, for our members, the youth and adults, to have a hands-on mission experience when they would pack the items. And then there's ministries in your community or near you possibly that can use volunteers on an individual basis, such as United Methodist Open Door does in Wichita. Individual can go and volunteer helping with the intake of persons that are coming for food or helping to distribute the food, or in the file room there's many needs there for volunteers. So you can make these available to your church members, this awareness. And then disaster response preparedness. You could have basic disaster response training in your church, or you might move beyond that into the emergency response training. And again, you'd be getting your members prepared to go and serve when the time needs, whether that's in your community, your state, or elsewhere in the United States. And you could pack disaster response kits for the United Methodist Committee on Relief. Another good way to get members involved and assist others. Your church could be involved in forming your own mission team. It could be a youth team or an adult team. Our purpose through the mission teams is to make a Christian difference through our participation in hands-on mission activities. You can join us for several mission teams. We've gone to Mexico, where we've helped build housing. We've had mission teams closer to home in Cookson Hills, Oklahoma, at the Cookson Hills Ministry. It's a good location in that they do repair work for low-income families. You get to meet the families, work with the families. And then they also have ministries going on at their headquarters there with the senior center that they have there, a thrift store, and several different ministries there. So a team could split up from those that are skilled to go out in construction that want to do that, and those that want to stay at the center and work on other activities. And then there's disaster response. It could be something such as Greensburg, Kansas after their disaster, or Joplin, Missouri. A team can go and help with the cleanup, or you can go months later and help with the rebuilding. Our mission as part of the body of Christ is to lift up Jesus Christ by responding with prayers, time, labor, and financial help and love. Then we want to look at how do we get our church members involved after we've got a passionate team leader or passionate coordinator of the ministry and we've decided what ministry to be involved with. One way is through mission education to begin with. We can do that through a special missions study during Sunday school. We could hold a church-wide mission celebration, or you might have mission minutes every month where you would talk about missions and why the biblical emphasis on missions, why we are involved in missions. But you want to add new ministries to meet the ministry interests of your volunteers. So remembering to always expand and have ministry opportunities available for during the week and on weekends and week-long opportunities and for all age levels of people. And remember that there will be prayers, payers, and players involved in the ministries. All our ministries need prayers. Some of our ministries will need financial backing, the payers, and most of them will need the players, which are our volunteers that get involved with the hands-on missions. As we move forward and get the people involved, be intentional about inviting members to participate. Potential volunteers usually don't respond to casual information. So you want to put it in your church bulletin and your newsletter and let them know about what the ministry is, but go a little beyond that and give some announcements at church and go individually and talk to people and invite them to be a part of that ministry and tell them why they would be important. Whether it's a mission team and maybe you need someone that can help cook for the mission team. Or maybe you need a plumber on the mission team. You would go to this person and tell them that this is what the mission team will be doing. This is how it's going to make a Christian difference with the people that they're going to be working with. And this is why we specifically need you on the mission team. We need your skill that you have. Or we need your skill in the ministry that we're involved in here in our community because of what you have to offer. And then present accurate information to them and the assurance that the time, abilities, and monies invested in the ministry will make a definite difference. Encourage participants to invite others. Some ministries will be opportunities for involvement of non-church members in your community. So there's our members that are involved as volunteers. There's the families and people that we work with and partner with that need the assistance. And then we can also get others in our community that may or may not be Christians and invite them to come work with us in this ministry. And they will grow and learn about our faith as they work with us. We will grow spiritually and share our faith as a part of our outreach ministry. John Wesley taught that as we are in mission, God will transform us as God works through us to transform others. Church members will grow in their own faith as they witness to others by word and service. We read in the book Change the World that many people will experience serving in mission as their primary pathway to conversion. Serving will precede the more traditional pathways of worship attendance and Bible study groups. So it's important that we invite others to be a part of it. Yes, we're going to grow in our faith, and we're going to share with the people that we partner with. Those involved in a ministry have the opportunity to not only tell others about Jesus Christ, such as in this photo of presenting a Bible to a family, but to demonstrate Christ's love and the gospel to them, which can have an even greater impact. Then we need to plan for funding. First off, we need to set a budget. For example, if it's a mission team, we would include in that budget items such as travel, food, building materials, vacation Bible school materials, lodging, etc. And we would decide how much each team member would pay. and how much needs to be raised. Once we know what the financial needs would be, we can check with our church budget to see if there's any missions money already budgeted in that could help with the funding. But what I like to say is not to get bogged down in too many fundraisers. I would think that one or two should be plenty for a mission event. An example of some fundraisings might be an awareness dinner where you're raising funds, but more than raising funds and getting donations for the dinner, you're making your congregation aware of the ministry that you're going to be involved in. Again, what the needs will be and why this will be making a Christian difference where you're going. You could have a dessert auction and do the same kind of a thing, or a chili cook-off, just some different ideas. You could also ask support from your church's United Methodist Men's Group, United Methodist Women's, or Sunday school classes. Tell them about what you'll be doing and do a little presentation, and offer to give another presentation when you return or as the ministry develops, with some photos, and so that they can see how their funds have made this Christian difference at the work and the ministry. You could start a mission fund at your church to receive undesignated money, such as from selling grocery store certificates or recycling aluminum cans, different things like that, where you could build up a fund. And then another way that I talked about earlier that we can help fund mission teams would be to partner with another church. But think about how you can share the gospel and Christ's love in your community and around the world by being involved in missions.